very pleasant good evening, everybody. How it go? You guys are back to Islandish Podcast. I am your girl Yams, your favorite side on the plate, the Honorable Island Vegetable, and I have with me Mr. Cranston McDonald. Now let me read what his Facebook say about him first. He is an actor, movie producer, music producer, musician, videographer, barber, lifeguard. He's paint. I think he could fly, and I think he is turned invisible. Mr. McDonald, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
That is wonderful. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here on Islandish Podcast. We are going to dive into not just the world of movie production and music production, but also into the world of just facing your fears and just going for it. And I feel like that's something you embrace and try to pass on. Is that correct?
Yes.
In what ways do you try to do that or have done that in your life?
Well, I'll say this. What I always tell a lot of people, just start.
Yes.
Just start. I mean, a lot of people can turn you down, especially persons who they're trying to start a business, entrepreneur, whether it's being in videography or taking photos or even modeling, acting, singing. Just start. YouTube is your best teacher. That's the University of YouTube will take you far.
Yes, definitely. So in this episode of the podcast, we are on episode number 4. If you haven't watched any of the episodes, as soon as this is over, go over to the Islandish 242 page and catch up on the sets, all right? Catch up on all of them so you ain't left behind. But we're going to talk about being brave when it comes to being a creative. There are a lot of creatives here in Grand Bahama and in the Bahamas in general who are hesitant, fearful, don't know who to talk to, how to reach out, and how to get certain collaborations and things done. So let's start off with your journey as a movie producer and talk about some of the things you have worked on here in the Bahamas.
Okay. I know taking chance for Bahamians is one of the toughest things in the world to do. We don't know how to take chances. Some people say, yeah, I take chances. We take this much chances.
Right.
Because as long as it don't, because of fear. You know, you fear of not making it.
Right.
Like I remember, when I was working at Alukai as a lifeguard, I got injured. I had a slip disc, couldn't walk. For almost 2 years, I was in a wheelchair, walking with a cane. And I was sitting down, and the thought came to mind. I used to say it was a thought, but I know it was God. It was the Holy Spirit. And I was laying down on this couch, and I said, Lord, I don't want to be no couch potato. And I heard the voice of the Lord say, go and buy a camera. I took my last $150, because keep in mind, I ain't working 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Go take my last $550 and go buy a camera. What I can do with that?
Right.
I don't know how to shoot. I don't know how to edit. What I can do with that? So anyway, I bought it anyway, needless to say. And I started calling my friends at Zed, and I said, hey, I need you to help me. You think you can teach me how to edit when you get some time? Or, boy, Grandson, I ain't got no time. I said, well, wow. Call some of my producer friends in the States. Hey, you think you can help me out, teach me how to edit and this? Boy, Grandson, we doing this big deal. We can't help you. I heard the loudest voice you could ever hear. Who told you to ask for help? I, God, can help you. And I said, okay, go on the computer. Went on the computer, and the University of YouTube taught me everything.
Right.
And my first movie I did was called Second Chance.
Okay.
And how I wrote that script, I got stabbed 19 times in 2003.
Oh, wow.
And I used that movie as opposed to when I got stabbed. And it was like a police officer who had his family and so forth, and he was an undercover police officer, and he almost lost his family. Wife had cancer and so forth, and then he ended up getting shot. Him being shot is me being stabbed.
Okay.
He didn't die. I didn't die.
Okay.
So that was my first movie. Now, here comes them same friends, ZNS. Hey, Cranston, I saw the movie which you did on YouTube. Man, how much you paid to do that? I said, I didn't pay nobody to do that. I did that.
Right.
No. You paid somebody to do that. You couldn't do that. A friend called from the States, said, hey, said the same thing. I said, no, dude, I did that. But they couldn't believe that I did that. And I told them, I said, listen, I gave God all the credit. I said, the Lord taught me how to do this.
Right.
That was the last time I heard from them. I guess they don't believe in God as much. Not
I love that,
the people in the States now, not the ZNS guys.
I love that, though. So, as you were, I'm assuming that you self-taught yourself.
Yes.
From videos on YouTube and things of that nature. So, a lot of times, person feel like they either have to go to school for something, or they have to, like you did, reach out to people for mentorship in order to take these big steps or do these great things. And you said that was only your first movie, and you did that on your own.
On my own.
You did the writing, everything on your own. So after that, what led to you continuing on that path, and what other doors opened up, or how you even got other opportunities?
Well, the opportunities didn't come because after that, and I got that first big 1,000 views. I was like, oh man, this is a good thing. Then all of a sudden, people stop watching it.
Right, okay.
So, you get depressed and you say, okay, now,
one hit wonder.
What next? Yeah.
Right.
I was like, Milli Vanilli.
Right.
What next to do?
Okay.
So I started trying my hands. I put application out there, and I kid you not, this may sound so crazy. I put my application out there for every job there is in Grand Bahama. And everyone said to me, you are overqualified.
Wow.
Now keep in mind, everything what they were saying I was overqualified for, I never went to school for. They just saw the finished product.
Right.
And they saw me around Grand Bahama doing everything what I was doing, and they thought that I had paper for it.
Right.
I had no paper for that. But they assumed that I was overqualified. And so I came back home so depressed. And I had a friend told me, say, why don't you start cleaning car for a living?
I mean, do what you gotta do.
Nobody hear me out. I grabbed my bucket, and I said I need to take care of my family. For y'all who out there never heard this story, yes, I was getting ready to wash car because I need to take care of my family.
Do what you got to do.
And as I was leaving to go, a friend of mine, Raymond Bow, has Bullseye Car Rental.
Right.
He said to me, he said, listen to me, where you think you going? You can't be clean. He said, you know who you is? You ain't cleaning no car around here.
Right.
And guess what? That snapped me right back into my creativity. And then all of a sudden I started writing, then started shooting. Shot another movie. Then shot another movie. Then the numbers started going up, and the rest was history.
That's great. That's amazing. So you basically self-motivated yourself into being self-employed.
Right.
Okay. I actually kind of like that. That's a good story. And I feel like a lot of the businesses, especially after Hurricane Dorian, that's what separated the men from the mice. You had to self-motivate yourself out of that depressive slump that was over Grand Bahama and Abaco right after Dorian. So did that have any impact on you in terms of technology and opportunities and stuff?
It did. It actually opened the doors, but I want to give you a story.
Okay, wonderful. I love stories.
Well, this story, I got an opportunity to go to Baker's Bay.
Okay.
To work. Now keep in mind, the numbers ain't looking good online, and I ain't getting them calls to do no commercials no more and doing weddings, and the movie thing ain't happening just yet. And so I got this call to go to Baker's Bay, but God didn't tell me to go. But I still jump on the plane and went.
Right.
So when I got there, my brother actually was the one who told me about it. So when I got there, he said, Cranston, listen, don't tell them you got injured, because they're not going to hire you because you're damaged good.
Right.
Don't tell them if you ever gotten any problem at your previous job, don't tell them that either, because you're not going to get the job. He said, but this job is in the bag. When I got there, got on the ferry, I heard the loudest voice you could ever hear. Who told you to come here? Get back to Grand Bahama.
Who told you to go to any Baker's Bay?
Thank you kindly. I was going to be making 50 grand a year. I couldn't spell 50 grand at that time.
That's a good amount for something you ain't educated in.
So I'm in there talking to my boss, my brother's boss, and she said, okay, Mr. McDonald, I heard about you. So why do you want this job? I said, Miss, I don't want this job. My brother told me about this job. She said, oh, I see. She started writing down.
I see.
She said, let me ask you a question. You have any injuries we need to know about? I said, what? Boy, miss, I had to slip this for a couple of years coming on the ferry just now. Boy, I feel like the slip this come back. She said, oh, I see. I getting ready to tell you about Dorian in a minute, how this can tie in. She said, okay, I have one more question. You ever gotten any problems on your previous job? I said, what? Miss, one fella gone human resources lie on my name, boy, I gone home to get the gun and cutlass to kill him.
You do everything your brother tell you don't do.
Everything he told me, because I was told not to come or to get back to Grand Bahama. And I know it was God. He said, my sheep know my voice.
Right.
So she said, okay, Mr. McDonald, when can you start?
After you say all of that.
Now, viewing audience, there's a lot of people would say, well, you don't think that was God? No, that was not God. He already told me to get back to Grand Bahama. So she told me to go to human resources, and I told him the same exact thing what I told the first lady. Human resources manager said, so Mr. McDonald, so how many weeks we need you to think about it? I said, y'all people in here NBA. I ain't supposed to be here.
Right.
Anyway, got back to Grand Bahama. I said, Lord, what are you trying to do to me? I need this money.
I need that money. That $50,000 a year would have been nice.
I need to take care of my family. Right. What are you trying to do to me?
Right.
Anyway, 2 years later, Dorian came.
Okay.
Now here's the key thing. Had I took that job, I would have been living on Baker's Bay in
Oh,
Abaco, I probably would have been dead.
that's
So
true.
when God say move, He didn't tell me to go there. So I had to go back to Grand Bahama. So everybody who probably thought I was crazy for turning on that job, I just did what God told me to do. I didn't understand it at that time. So even when you're looking for to start a business, the first thing you do, I mean, what they call the thing name which you write down for the beginning of the year.
Oh, your resolutions.
Yes, my New Year's resolution. Before you do that, the first thing you're supposed to say is, Lord, what you want me to do?
Right.
What is it that
Yes.
you want me to do before the year start? But what we always is do, write down the New Year's resolution, and this is what I want to do. I can be married before the year out. I got
Yeah.
children before the year out. I'm going to have my business. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have a car and a
20,000
house.
save in the bank.
And guess what? By December of that year, nothing happens.
Not a one.
You know why? Because you didn't put it before God.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And it's also very interesting that you mentioned that about being on the right path and also listening to God with your callings and being in tune and knowing His voice.
Right.
Because a lot of times people are probably being told and they hearing these voices telling them, why are you on this job? Why are you waking at the spa? Why you doing this? You know this ain't what you're supposed to be doing. But because of the fear of not being able to take care of their families, fear of certain responsibilities, fear of failure, it kind of holds them in
Hostage.
Yes, I like that you
Put
said
them
that
in
holds them
bondage.
hostage and in bondage from being able to relive and live out their real true potentials. But sticking on your journey as a creative in terms of with movie production and things of that nature, how do you get US clientele or get those jobs or relationships that aren't only local but also international? Because a lot of people feel like, oh, it's the it crowd, you gotta know somebody, you gotta da-da-da-da-da. How did that happen for you? And be honest.
I'll give you another story.
Okay, good.
Since you like stories.
I like
and
stories.
I love to tell stories.
Yes.
There was a lady who was doing a movie for Chicago PD and some other shows. She messaged me on Facebook and she said, I'm coming to Grand Bahama. I'm from Atlanta and I want you to shoot the scene for me. I said, okay, gave her my number and so forth. When she came here, we talked. She told me what she wanted to do. She's doing the scene for Chicago PD and these other shows. I asked her one question. I said, can I ask you something? How you got my number? How you know to go on Facebook to find me?
Right.
She said, well, I went, or I typed in movie director, producer in Grand Bahama because she was coming on a boat.
Okay.
She said, everything about you, your website came up, your name came up, your Facebook came up. And she said, and then something called BahamasLocal.com came up. Shouts out to BahamasLocal.com.
Yeah,
Thank you
big
so
ups
much.
to y'all.
Say, I saw that and I said, oh, this is the guy. So I'm saying that to say this, you have to apply yourself.
Right.
You have to put yourself out there. Like, what if I did not know Facebook? I didn't have no BahamasLocal.com. I didn't have no website. How would people know to reach you?
Right.
Even weddings. I had a wedding. There was a young lady who wanted me to shoot a wedding. She don't know me from a can of paint.
Right.
Saw my stuff online, and she called me. She said, hey, American lady, I'm coming to West End, and I'm getting married at this particular time. Do you think you could shoot my movie? How much would it cost? And because I heard the accent, I realized it was a white lady.
Right.
So I said, oh, okay. And I gave her my information and so forth. And
Right.
she said, okay. She came. I talking about the entourage. They flew the entourage in. The
Take
party
that.
in. I
Take
never
that.
saw nothing like that in my life where you getting married, your husband-to-be, and they fly the whole party in. Family, friends, the bridal party, the cousins, the uncles, and everybody, and pay for it. I said, wow, this is
Just show
powerful.
'em.
So I'm saying that to say this. They found me online because I applied myself. I made sure my name was out there.
Right.
And that's all you need, you just need to make sure your name get out there so that people can actually find you. Because if you're sitting on your hands,
Right. So it wasn't just about your work being out there, it's just about you and what you're qualified to do and your capability is being listed and out there for people to see and get in touch with you.
well,
What
it's-
else too?
It's that and your personality.
Ah.
Because you could be somebody, you could be the best at what you do, but have a poor people skill. That'll be the last time because people is talk.
Yeah, they do.
And from they say, he is the worst person to work with. I will never work with him again. He can never do anything for me again. But people know people who know people.
Right, that's
And they'll
true.
always say, when you go to Grand Bahama, you find this guy. He's going to take care of you. So it's your personality, and everybody know Bahamian people are one of the most nicest set of people in the world.
Right.
So anywhere we go around the world, people fall in love with our personality and so forth. So it's almost the same thing. So you can't miss. You have a good personality, you're good people skills.
Right.
Oh man.
I love it.
It's a win-win.
Yes. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we come back. We're going to continue with this conversation and also talk more about creativity here in Grand Bahama.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl. Join us here on Superior Talk Bahamas YouTube channel every Tuesday at 6 for Let's Talk,
Where we talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions so we have more action and less talk.
See you on Tuesday.
And we're right back into the podcast where we're talking with Mr. Cranston McDonald about creativity here in Grand Bahama. Now, you talked about your experiences as a movie producer and how putting yourself out there is how you got a lot of the business, especially international businesses and opportunities. So my question for you would be, do you feel that creatives here in Grand Bahama over-vibe or under-vibe themselves? And you know what those words mean.
Yeah.
Be honest.
I think they under-vibe.
Okay.
Only because they don't believe in themselves. And here's the thing too. A lot of people need someone to give them that push. What if you don't have that?
Right.
What if you don't have daddy, mommy, brother, sister to give you that push? Like I always had that push from my siblings.
Right.
You know, they would always give me, even if it's bad, they can tell you it's bad, but they can say, still do it.
Yeah.
Even though I did not like it. Even today, I posted a video, my sister was telling me, I don't like it. That intro is too long. You need to change that. But she giving good advice. And once you see you get people like that on your team, oh man, that's a win-win. So the that'll be the under vibe.
Okay.
The over will be when some people is overthink it and kind of put themselves in a place that I don't think it, and maybe it isn't, and shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't overthink what you just do.
Right.
Just go with it.
Yes. I know that you're involved, or I've seen you, because, you know, both of us try to work in the same entertainment, music, modeling, all this theater industry, the arts, I like to call it, here in Grand Bahama. And I've seen you work with so many different kinds of events. You help out with the Fashion Week,
Rip the
Runway. I've seen you help with a lot of different productions as well, and things of that nature. How do you feel about the theater industry here in Grand Bahama, and where do you think it's lacking, but also setting its mark?
You know, I think they could be further ahead if they would probably think of the box.
Okay.
Like, and when I say think of the box, and I know theater is theater, movie is movie.
Right.
But because I'm a creative, I have to say it like this. Whenever you see, I see most things that is being done in the theater, I always go back to, that could be a movie.
Right. Yeah.
That could actually be a TV show. But they continue to do it over and over and over again, and it's just here.
Right.
The world does not see what is being on that scene, on that stage. It stays right there. And I think if most of them think of the box, they could take that further than that.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, especially as someone who literally grew up watching Tyler Perry plays before they turned into Tyler Perry movies. And the fact that there are some plays that have a part 2, a part 3, a part this, a part that, and having to travel to all of our different islands. I'm happy you said that too, because we don't take advantage of the fact that we're an archipelago.
Yeah.
And the fact that you may not have the resources to fly to Long Island and show it in Long Island, but if you put it on DVD or you put it online, they have to subscribe and pay to watch it. They would pay to watch it.
They would.
To be inside the in-jokes they see it on Facebook and, you know, just to be aware. So why do you think a lot of people are apprehensive about recording plays? Is that because that's just the way it's done? Or why do you think that is?
Because that's all most people know. And when I say that's all they know, it's hard to say it like that. Some people may not accept that. When I say that's all they know, meaning a lot of people don't want to move from where they are because this is
comfort zone.
Yeah, this is it here, buddy.
Yeah.
We ain't going no further than this.
Right, okay.
We can milk this until the cows come home.
Okay.
But I'm telling you could still milk it, but still enhance it
Right.
by getting the proper team to record that. And I telling you, Netflix will literally grab some of these stuff, and guess who one that is? That's our own.
Yeah.
When Obama came in twice, you know what we were saying? We was behind the TV screen saying, "We won, we did it. We ain't do nothing. We ain't no American." You know who did it? We mean this.
Yes.
He black, we black. So
Right.
guess what? Because we're Bahamians, when one make it, all of us make it. So if they were to take that, like I said, get the proper team, production team to record that, sound and everything, and then take that to the film industry and put that on Netflix, I guarantee that's a win-win.
Yes. And I feel like you're speaking from a place as someone who has worked in those areas and worked with those people. So you know what works.
Yeah.
And kind of what wouldn't work.
Yeah.
In that sense. But I feel that we are immensely talented in terms, especially when it comes to comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And just on stage, energy, and just how real it does feel sometimes. And because you sometimes know the characters personally, because some of these people are people who we know in our regular day life. But to see them transform into completely different people on the stage, it like really displays a lot of their different talents and their capabilities. So when it comes to, because I know you do some mentoring and deal with some young people when it comes to that, how would people get in touch with you if they want to do a production, if they want to work in that area? And then we're also going to talk about some other things regarding that too.
Well, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Cranston McDonald production, or just Cranston McDonald. You can find me there. But something else I wanted to say. A lot of times, do you know when you were young, like you used Tyler Perry for example, I have a lot of kids that literally, if I go to schools and just talk to them, these kids who were like in grade 1 are now in college out of school. And I say, remember when you came to my school and you showed us your movie and this and that. You know, I inspire to be an actor. I inspire to be a director. And I inspire to this and I inspire to that. And be like, wow. I'm saying that to say this. The same thing with the theater.
Right.
Every person who you see as a child watching the theater, they grow up watching all of these funny people and they grow up to inspire to be that.
Right, yeah.
But the bad part about that is when they get there, they stop right there.
Yeah.
They almost like they follow in suit. And I always use the scripture, it says, refuse profane and old wise fables. That means whatever it was you were taught back then,
right,
most of the time, you have to learn to move forward. Because if you keep looking back or you keep stagnating, staying in one place, marking time, you're not gonna get to your full potential.
Right.
You're not gonna get further than that.
Yes.
And especially with these young people who coming up, they can pass plenty of us down.
Yeah, man. Are you ready for that? Listen, and I'm happy that you said that because I've had that same experience with being Miss Teen Bahamas in 2011, going to certain schools and having to speak on different islands and different things like that. And now going out, seeing these people who just graduated high school, it's like, yeah, I remember, I have a picture with you right on my Facebook, and I tell like, oh, okay. And it's like,
I don't even remember that.
I don't even remember, but it is be so interesting. And then they'd ask me questions about different things, and I'd have to let them know I'm really rich, you know.
Yeah.
Like don't think like, oh, I was Miss Teen Bahamas, now I was the princess of Grand Bahama. Like it ain't like that. But when you talk about like hard work and having to push yourself and trying to step outside of the box and do different type of things because of your talents, that's something that I feel a lot of people are afraid to do here, not just in the arts or creative, but across the board with a lot of different things, like going away from the status quo, the regular. Because I feel like a lot of people feel like ain't no money in theater, ain't no money in movie, ain't no money in music industry, or you can't be no Bahamian artist, you can't be no artistic or painter or whatever and have a living off of that. When in reality, that's not true. Really and truly.
It isn't true.
Is it true or is it not true? Because you're going a little quiet.
No, I went to say something.
Okay, go on.
Just in February, I did this. This guy did not know him, but a friend of mine, same friend I mentioned, Raymond Bo, he kind of set me up. He knew who this guy was, but I didn't know who he was.
Right.
And so he told me, say, you know, I want you to pick up this guy from the airport and carry him to the office. So I pick up the guy, and while we were in the car, I say, so let me being me.
Yeah.
So,
people skills.
Yeah. So what do? Yeah. I'm a movie director and producer. Take out my phone. I got a movie now, the trailer.
Ready.
I showed it to him, and he was looking at it, and he started freaking out. It was like he was losing his head. Of course, he was cussing again.
Right.
He said, "You did this?" I said, "Yeah, right here." He said, "I didn't know you guys had producers and directors here." I said, "We have tons of them.
Right.
Michael Garvey, Ariana Roberts. There's so much directors and producers here. It's unbelievable."
Right there. Yeah.
And so he said to me, listen, I got an idea. Oh man, this idea is beautiful. He said, how about you audition for this movie? Keep in mind, they only were looking for 3 Bahamian artists, actors that is. I came on board, ended up being one of the lead actors. And so I told him, I said, listen, I deal with a camp and I have some kids. He said, well, Cranston, we're not looking for kids. We're only looking for adults.
Right.
By the time those kids were done, he went back. He said, I got to go outside, go get a smoke. Came back inside. He said, listen, I'm going to call you when I get back to the hotel. When he called me back that day, we ended up with 9 Bahamians in this movie.
I love it.
And so he said, listen, we have to change the script because now your character has a daughter. Right. So that was one of the girls from my camp. And so it was just so amazing how this happened. And I was like, wow, this is a good thing.
Right.
So just answering your question, it isn't easy, and you may think that you could never make it, but guess what? I was minding my own business.
Right.
Sitting in my car, taking this guy where he had to be, and all I did is show him. I gotta sit there quiet. What if I didn't have no people skills?
Right, yeah.
Sit there quiet, don't do nothing season.
Turn the music up and just bob your head.
And that's it, and just drop him where he had to go. But now I'm in this movie.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that is something that is being shot here in Grand Bahama?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that my viewing audience would be able to watch or look at or see?
Well, they actually pitched it to Netflix and Disney.
Okay.
So hopefully, keep your fingers crossed.
Right.
We'll be seeing that there.
Very soon.
Along with the 9, and I have to say it like this.
Right.
The 9 Bahamians that actually came along with it. It wasn't just me.
Right.
It wasn't just, you know what I mean? So it was 9 of us that made this happen. They had 4 Americans came from the United States. And it was just supposed to be them and 3 Bahamians.
Okay, and now it's 4 of them and 9 Bahamians. Well, look at that. Look at God. I love it. So my other question would be, because I feel like I saw the flyer where they were asking for this audition.
Yes.
That was going around a lot. So how would someone prepare for an audition like that? Because a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, this information people just know. But how would you prepare for that type of audition?
I tell you this, a lot of actors may get mad at me when I say this, but please don't get mad at me because this is the God honest truth. Yes, you have to do classes and go to theater classes and do this and do that, but really and truly, all Bahamians are actors.
Yeah.
We go to church and we see the pastor jumping up and down. We go home and we go mimic the pastor.
That. That's true.
We have an uncle, we go to a party and we see the uncle falling down drunk. We go falling down drunk too.
Right.
All of us have acting in us. Now, that's just one part of it. Now, to enhance that is now you go. You have the boldness to now go take some classes and learn the theatrics part of it.
Right.
And get it going. But a lot of people think that it's very hard, but it's not because we have acting in us. Listen, before I was acting, I didn't care about that. All I wanted to do was be behind the camera.
Right.
But how I got in front of the camera, because some people couldn't make it.
Yeah.
This happened, that happened.
Times, yeah.
So I end up in front of the camera, and then all of a sudden I say, hold it. Starting to feel good.
Yeah, so I a little good at this.
I don't think I won't be in the back behind the camera no more.
No more. I will be in front.
But the thing is, as a director, you have to learn to direct. And so being in the front of the camera, you have to learn to follow.
Yes.
So when I took that on, when he asked me to do it, I had to literally come down off the director post.
Yes. Now learn
for somebody to tell me what to do.
Right.
And he was kind of amazed at it because he was like, man, I know you told me that you could act, but I didn't know you could act like this.
I didn't know you could
He said, man, I feel like this part was for you. Like, I wrote this just for you, and I just meeting you. I wrote that 2 years ago. This is what he telling me.
Right.
And so acting comes natural for every Bahamian. All you got to do is apply yourself.
I love that. And I am happy that you said it, and then you also said some people may get mad, But that's the truth of it. And even looking at some of the people, for example, my cousin Dijon Wild Goose, he been a character all my life. But then when I saw him on stage, it's like, oh yeah, I ain't even surprised. I know you can do well. You've been a character. And he is able to take on so many different types of roles. People like Evan and Romano and all of them, on their regular life, they are natural characters.
Actors,
And off of acting and practicing more, they're able to, like you say, have theatrical trainings and be able to really own the stage and do well. But we're going to take a quick commercial break again, and then when we come back, we're going to dive even deeper into this amazing conversation.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat.
And I'm your boy Mix.
And we're representing Off the Bench, the number one talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The number one talk show in the world, Craig.
Alright, we are back here at Islandish Podcast. I am your host, your girl Yams, here with Mr. McDonald. Mr. Cranston McDonald, having this amazing conversation about production, movies, acting, and theater here in Grand Bahama. Now, I can put you in the hot seat. I just put everybody in the hot seat.
Fine.
You ready?
That's fine.
Good.
Fine.
I need you to tell me your top 3 favorite Bahamian writers or producers or directors. Actually, I can give you 5.
Give me 5?
Yeah, because writers, producers, and directors is a lot.
Now,
that's a lot.
Is this writers writing plays or writing movies?
I'm going to put both.
You're going to put both? Okay. For writers, I have, for movies, I have 2 that I could say I admire, and I would sit down and watch their movie.
Okay.
That's Ariana and Michael Garvey.
Okay.
And not because they're directors and producers, it's because I see their worth. I see how they go hard at it. They go at it. I have another one. If he ever was to get into writing movies, Zenero.
Yes.
Very talented young man. And I know that he actually, if he were to get into this, like I see him acting in movies and so forth, but I mean literally writing his own movie and getting it out there, I think he'd be a force to reckon with.
Love that.
Plays, I would say, I have a lot of persons who write plays. So I have like...
hot seat, hot take.
Gia Pierre.
Okay.
Shauna Joseph.
Okay.
She's really talented too. Man, you have so much.
You only have 3 left.
I have 3 left? Hold on, film or...
See, I'm trying to be nice and let you separate them.
I have a very talented writer. She just started writing movies and she's doing pretty good because she helped me write the movie that I'm actually working on as we speak now. Chanel Mitchell.
Okay.
Very talented young lady. Getting into writing movies now. She don't do the plays.
Okay.
Let me see. Play. The name right on the tip of my tongue in the theater. I want to say Miss LeGlone. Gloria.
Okay.
And I have...
Look at Gloria.
Yes. Who else? Who else I've seen write plays? I ain't got no more.
Okay, good. You better be quiet to save yourself. All right, so you gave in your top ones, and what are some of the things you like about some of their work? You only gotta tell me like 2 reasons why.
Okay. 1, most of them are what the people want. And the reason why I say what the people want is I told somebody this just 2 days ago. I asked them, I send them some photos, and I say, hey, we're doing the photo shoot for the poster. And they say, oh, I like this Jumanji, I like this poster, I like the poster. I said, okay, now that you tell me what you like, I said, look at it again and just give me the best ones. But I like this one. I said, don't tell me what you like.
Right.
Give me the best ones. And what I was trying to indicate to them was that if you put out there what you like, it almost like let me use a praise team, a church.
Okay, let's
If
go.
I would have sang the same song over and over again,
'Cause that's
you said
it.
Jesus will roll with Cranston because that's the song that I like. When I
Right.
can start singing a song that God likes, or the song that actually can set the atmosphere in church.
Right.
So that's what I was meaning when I said, stop putting stuff out there that you like. Put it out there because this is what the people want.
Right.
This is what they want. Like Tyler Perry, you could be mad at them all you want.
That's true.
This fella giving the people
What they
they
paying
want.
for. That's
He
it.
said
They can make the hits.
they want an angry black woman. That's what I'm gonna give them.
Right.
I'm gonna give them an angry black woman. They want this happen. That's gonna happen.
Her man can leave her.
Yep.
She can find a new man. She might go back to the old man, or she might start over.
Let's look
Same
at it like
script.
this too. If you do what you love, what you really want to do, what you want to put
Right.
out there, watch the numbers.
Yeah.
Watch the numbers.
Yeah, and I agree with that because a lot of times, and I deal with that sometimes when I deal with radio and hosting and different things like that. A lot of times, someone may think they know what they want at their event, but I'd have to tell them it's like, all right, that's what you want me
right.
to do. But your audience, they ain't gonna be into
Learn
that.
your audience, son. You
Like
gotta
I
know
know
your audience.
your crowd can be this age. They ain't gonna want me doing no
Yes.
trivia games and making them run up and
Yes.
down. They ain't gonna be on that.
Yes.
They gonna want to sit down. They gonna be crack a couple of little
And
jokes.
that's a good point.
And do a couple little things, sing some karaoke, and that's all they can want.
Yep.
You don't do things that you want to see. You have to appeal to your audience
Yes.
base, and that's really important that you said that. Now, you also said that there's an actor in most Bahamians. So, do you think that it's easy to write plays for Bahamians, or even write?
Oh, for Bahamians?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why?
You
I
know,
feel like Bahamians are
let me
very
tell you-
critical sometimes.
Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because you mean in writing, a Bahamian play or movie is very easy.
Okay.
You could walk out here right now, and the first person you see, you say, "Oh man,
Okay.
oh yeah, I remember him." And then guess what? What you do as creative, if you are a creative, you'll add on. You'll be just sitting in the barber chair, see somebody walk past or whatever the king is singing to himself. Oh, that's another one.
Yeah, that's
another one
another
gone.
character.
So you
Okay.
literally would be writing right now. When you're talking about writing particular type of movies, now that's where
It gets separated goat from the sheep a little bit.
it's not gonna be that easy.
Okay.
You could write a Bahamian play in seconds because we live this every day. Every
Yeah.
day we do this.
Bahamians got a lot of different stories.
lot.
You can watch the headline news and read the paper and get some interesting stories from that. That'll be like, how you turn this into a play, Because ain't no way they have this in the paper saying that. And the thing about it is, and I big up to my girl Shishina. It's one clip going around with Shishina Farquharson where she laughing at this headline she reading.
Right.
Where it's the woman and this man say this woman try steal his phone, and when he try to take it back, she kick him in his private area,
Right.
and she trying to read it with a serious face,
Right.
and she laughing, telling the story and trying to be serious for newscasting. But even situations like that. Everybody know a funny story from high school.
Yes.
Or a funny story what happened over the weekend. Or something that's like, you wouldn't believe how they leave our luggage again. Bahamas, they had me late. I had to stand in Nassau traffic. Get to the funeral at the stand up. He ain't had no seat. Now his family. It's always a story in our life and the way we tell it. I tell people all the time, no one can tell a story better than a Bahamian.
Do you know?
No one.
I was just watching. I was seeing it on Instagram. The guys in Nassau say, "I am a Bahamian."
Yeah.
And I'm from Andros.
Yeah.
I'm a Bahamian. Of course, Andros people is eat crab.
Right,
Of course,
right.
Grand Bahama people, them stuff like that. That literally, you could turn that into a movie or into a play.
Right.
That's how, remember the guys who did Stop Liking Man?
Best thing to ever happen
I mean,
to our
everything
internet.
was just, and they started off just playing around.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
they turned it into something what was to the movie theater.
Right,
So
yeah.
it is that easy. You just have to be that creative with it and have to know where to put what.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing too, what creatives need to do, kind of get people in the room and say, what do y'all think about this?
Mm-hmm.
Because not all the time you can be right as the writer.
Right.
You're not gonna have all the answers. So if you
Right.
have a team of people, and there's another thing, viewing audience, I had to learn this the hard way. Having a team is
Yeah.
one of the best things you could ever do.
Yeah.
I was doing this for years by myself. And the worst thing one of my siblings told me, I think it was my brother, and oh man, for me telling me that, he said, Cranston, I can't believe you did this movie by yourself. He said, you was the cameraman, you was the boom mic man, you was the actor, you was the editor. Oh man, that swelled my head up. And for years I started doing it by myself.
Thinking that's the way it's supposed
then that
to be.
almost killed me. Because now when you have a team, you don't have to worry about going to do this.
Right.
Or worry about the camera, or worry about editing. You just worry about what you're supposed to do,
Right.
direct.
Delegating.
That's it. Or delegate, tell people what to do.
Right. And I feel like that's an important thing when it comes to creatives a lot of times. And I struggled with this a lot too when I started on my entrepreneurial journey and I was starting out with Islandish. A lot of times, a lot of creatives are fearful that someone can thief their idea.
Yes.
You can steal my idea.
What for you, son?
Like, man, I know I need a team, but they can go and try to do what I doing, or if we fall out, they can. And my mom would tell me, she's like, but ain't no one can do it exactly how
That's right.
you was trying to do it. And even if they do, so what? Two of y'all could do it.
Yep.
And that's how I got into radio and got into podcasting, because sometimes you're so fearful. It's like, man, it's 100,000 podcasts. I don't want to just speak. Why not? You can end up talking about something completely different. You can end up looking at it from a completely different angle, and your perspective and your opinion might still resonate with somebody. It's almost like how you say you was barbering.
Right.
It's a bunch of barbers around here.
Yep.
And some of their chairs still have people in it. And there can be new barbers coming in.
That's right.
And different barbers coming out. And ain't no one fair for that, boy. I ain't gonna cut it in there. They can cut it out, guys, cut it out. They can see my tricks, and now all of a sudden, it ain't like that all the way with creatives. Do you agree with that, or what's your perspective on that?
Everyone has their own gift. When I started out cutting here, listen to this. This is another story. I couldn't cut a straight line. I lied, viewing audience. I lied to get this job. This was many years ago.
Oh, Lord, okay.
And I told the Mr. Martin, Johnny Martin at that time, who was owning Arcade Barbershop, I said, Mr. Martin, I could cut here, you know. He said, you could cut here. Oh, one of my sons going away to school. I said, man, come tomorrow. When I went there, I talking about I had people shape up like this, shaving. I talking about slices under their neck like Freddy Krueger and Wolverine.
Man.
He took me in the back. He said, hey, I thought you told me you could cut here. You can't cut a straight line. Say, boy, you got to leave my establishment. I said, Mr. Martin, please teach me how to cut here, because at that time, we were making like $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
You could imagine, I just come out of school and I can make $1,000 a week. I am not leaving this job.
Talking fool in the barbershop.
And so he fired me. I just get hired and I get fired on the day I get hired. And so I left. I came home and I watched VH1 and I saw where Puff Daddy got fired because he was a party animal and this and that. He got fired. He came back the next day with Mary J. Blige, Joe C, Heavy D, and he said, listen, I's a changed man now. I ready to work. I don't want to party no more.
Right.
So I said, you know something? I'm going to do the same thing. I went inside that barbershop and I said, Mr. Martin, I need you to give me one more chance to cut here. I ain't coming there with no customers because I can't cut here.
Right.
So I came up with this brilliant idea. I said, give me the sharpest razor you all have. And I blow this balloon up. And I took some magic saving cream and put it on it. And I said, if this balloon bursts, you don't have to worry about me ever again coming in this shop. I said, I would leave and don't come back. But if it doesn't, you have to teach me how to cut here. This man ain't even look at me. I talking about, I tremble inside. Sweat dripping from my face. And the balloon didn't burst. I sat down there. This man ignored me the whole time from 9 o'clock that morning until 8 o'clock that night till the shop closed.
You ain't stay in that shop all day.
I was sitting right there. He locked the door, turned off the lights. He said, hey boy, you ain't see my shop closing. Hurry up, come out my shop. And I said, Mr. Martin, please, I'm not going anywhere. You have to teach me how to cut here. At that time, I only think about the money, you know. I wasn't thinking about learning how to cut here.
Right.
But I'm glad I learned it. But anyway, when I came out, he said, anyway, I'll teach you. But boy, if you got 1 week, and if you don't learn this, you're fired.
Right.
I learned how to cut here in 1 week. And God, I tell you, he was cutting Edwards in Georgia. I was there for 1 month. Cutting here. They used to have this small chair called the rookie chair. I wasn't in the big chairs yet. I was in this little chair. And to go back to what you were saying with somebody doing what you're doing, I was the only one in the barbershop used to draw in people's head and cut it, the Nike ticks and all these different designs and stuff.
Right.
And he told Edwards and George, he said, hey, you see this fella behind me? I remember when he couldn't cut a straight line. He said, he's the best barber in this barbershop now, and that was only 1 month.
Wow.
And what I got out of that now, my 2 sons could cut it out. Now they have a trade of something that I lie doing.
You lie about knowing how to do. Look at that. Look how it is. But I love that part of the conversation, especially because I feel like the biggest problem a lot of times with a lot of people, especially in the arts and the theater, and trying to step into this entertainment and creative realm, it's a fact that we're so fearful of ideas getting stolen that we don't want to collaborate and work with one another. When really and truly, you can't do it all by yourself.
Right.
At the end of the day, you can't. You could try, but it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very difficult. And it's going to take a longer amount of time.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
No, you're right. And collaboration is one of the key factors that people has missed. And I know this be kind of tough because, you know, you collaborate with the wrong set of people.
Yeah.
You could go down the wrong line. So, but I would say try to collaborate with as much people as you could. I wouldn't say jump into it full sail, but just kind of just start off, you know, piece or whatever. Like I see Zaniro working along with Ariana. Yes. And he's doing well. Yes. Like that may not be his final stop, but he's getting it. He's like, okay, I don't care if I'm holding the boom mic. Right. You have to respect that. Yes. You know, so he's collaborating, he's learning something. So guess what, when he branch off from her and start doing his own thing, he could say I started off with her, he could say he started off with Cranston, he started off with Michael Garvey, like he started. Definitely.
So we're going to take another break, and then when we come back, we're going to wrap up this conversation right here on episode 4.
I'm Flynn Daxon from Nose Witness News, reporting live from Sniper Paintball City. We're here with the manager, and he's going to tell us a little about what they have to offer.
Daddy, I got this at Sniper Paintball. We have paintball, cornhole, mini golf, batting cage. Strike! That's not a strike.
So come on down every Saturday and Sunday to Sniper Paintball City, located next to Crosstown, where you and the family can have a great time.
See you at Sniper!
We are here on Islandish Podcast with Mr. Cranston McDonald. I am your host, Yams. And as we get ready to wrap up this conversation, I have to say it has been an absolute pleasure having you here. And I have to give you your flowers. You've been someone who have always pushed me and told me, it's like, well, you miss, you got it. You just have to, you know, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to try new things. And really been very encouraging. So before we went on the break, we talked about collaborating and working with people. And I know you've been someone who've always been open to collaborating and working with people. And I have too. For some reason, do I give off something like I stuck up or something? Because a lot of people just feel like, even when it comes to wedding hosting and different things, they feel like, oh, I know you must be too busy. Or I thought, y'all don't do that to me. And don't be telling people I too busy. I never too busy to help someone with something, especially if you can pay me. Okay?
Well, but what I would say in your defense, a lot of people probably just have to learn your personality.
That's true too.
Because when we met for the first time, I don't know if you remember, by the City of Life, when you had, I think you opened up a lockup for me.
Yes, I had to open up the
and
door
then
for you to record.
The second time we buck actually in my house when you came to do a shoot with Dom
for the Rip the Runway.
And I used to message you. I used to intentionally mess up Dom name and your name. You'd be like, that's not his name. I'd be like, yeah, well, that's what I call him. And you'd be like, that's not my name. I say, yeah, well, that's what I calling you. Right. And we almost like started the bucket.
Right.
But I had to understand that's your personality. And so I know you remember when I came back by his place and I said, come, get it together. You all
Stop this together. Don't give up, right.
Right then and there, I said, come, let's take this photo. And you was like, because I already make you mad, messing with you the whole time.
Right, bothering with people.
So we took the photo and I sent you it, and then I said, okay, you know what? I can inspire this young lady to do better, to be better than her own self. Because even though you probably may give off that, a lot of us give off certain things that a lot of people don't understand, but sometimes people just have a bad day. Sometimes people just don't, you know. Yeah. But once people know that you don't mean nothing by it, it's just that this is my personality. You go on your TikTok, Instagram, you'll be the loudest person, and people be like, oh my God, this she's so loud. But if you have sit down and have a conversation with you, you'd be like, she's in as loud as I thought.
Yeah, no.
You
no,
know?
No.
But they just have to get to know you.
It's almost like, it's like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's different faces to it, you know? Nicki Minaj and Roman, like it's...
Right.
When I in performance mode, I know how to perform. I know how to come out there and do my thing. But when I home, this makeup off, I wear my sleep cap.
Right.
Big t-shirt, basketball pants. Don't bother me. Chips, eating chips off my belly button, you know? But when it comes to that and as being a creative, and especially putting yourself out there, because earlier in the show you mentioned how a lot of people found you because of your social media presence, and you put yourself out there on the internet and things like that. So that's another phase or another part of it, along with being willing to collaborate with others and also being able to work on your people skills as a business. Because I promise you, I may be in a bad mood when I'm on my personal time, but I never take that bad mood on a job.
Right.
Or at a wedding or a birthday party or a booking and a hosting. I can always be on it.
Yeah,
you
gotta know when to turn it off.
Right. I know it's like, okay, I need to work. I here to be helpful. I know I'm only supposed to host, but I can help seat people. If the people want, okay, go to the bar, be like, hey, the people at these tables need da-da-da. You be as helpful as possible. And then you even spoke about it too when you talked about Zeneo and his working the boom mic and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of creatives don't understand. I don't know if the term is paying dues, if that's really the way you phrase it. But like before you could really make money, sometimes you have to be the help. You have to be like, all right, I had to observe. I had to get, because the knowledge is priceless. Sometimes that you learn, even being around the theater and volunteering, working with you and seeing how you were able to do what you did for Dominic and different things like that. Those type of experiences are so priceless. What you pick up, the connections you make, the people you shake hands with sometimes, that it ends up being worth not getting paid and volunteering your money.
And it ain't about money, you know. Money, I tell people, the money is going to come.
Right.
When I did the movie in February, I told the guy, I said, listen, I said, I'm going to tell you this. And I told him this off the record. I said, pay these Bahamian people before you pay me.
Right.
And he said, no, Cranston, we're going to make sure you get taken care of. I said, listen to me. You pay them first. You could always, I said, if it ever was to come to you know, y'all trying to figure out X, Y, Z, which is they wasn't short for no money. But I'm just saying, pay them first, because they looking at me as being in the forefront. And if I walking around happy and they ain't happy, that's going to be a problem. You know, and we know how we Bahamian go.
Right, we do. And you know, I'm happy that you mentioned that too, because even sometimes, especially when you're taking a leadership role with certain things, you have to know as a leader when you need to take care of your people and take care of your team, especially your team who you pull into something that they really, I only do this because it's you. And I have a lot of friends who do favors like that for me. And I know that, but I have to take care of them. Or I can have to like, all right, boy, when we go out next time, I can take you out to lunch or dinner on me. Certain ways you have to end up compensating people.
Right.
When you can't financially compensate them at the time. Because we know right now in Grand Bahama it's really hard times. And that's a lot of things and times. Sometimes creatives feel like, all right, I want to be a full-time artist, but bills got to pay. And that's understandable. But sometimes, like you say, the money will come.
The money's gonna
if you invest the time into it. Because y'all see this podcast and all this, I start off with a $35 mic I take from one boy I was dating at the time. And that was 2 years before Dorian. And then Dorian hit, I ain't had no more mic. Then I had to go buy another cheap mic for $13 off Amazon. And then it ended up with me getting a radio show. And then now I host it. And now I here with this podcast. But like you say, in the beginning, you just got to start.
Yeah, that's it.
Once you start and you fall in love with it, you can find the ambition and the desire to just keep going, putting the content out there, and then certain doors and opportunities just can come because you end up acting when you was only shooting off a camera.
You know, I brought down some celebrities last year for my camp.
Yes, we talked about that.
And one in particular, Mariah Carey's producer, I was supposed to bring, he didn't get to come because, you know, he was on tour. And he called me and said, oh, Cranston, I apologize, man. I had already paid for his ticket. And he said to me, he said, how much was the ticket? I said, nah, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. He said, no, Cranston, I know it costs a lot of money. Oh, man, that'd cost money. That'd cost over $1,000. What do you mean? And I had to bring 3 of them down. So I said to him, I said, listen, don't worry about it. He said, no, Cranston, I want to pay you back. I said, listen, take that ticket and hold on to that. And if you ever, have some time, you could come to the Bahamas, so you could use that for something else.
Right.
You know what that did? That literally put me and him he looks at me totally different now.
Right. Put you in a different space.
When it was just business,
yeah,
ain't no more business now. It's almost like this. This is on a different level. It's like, this is my friend.
Yes.
Because he realized it was never about the money.
Right.
And he could have given me, I tell you, that's Mariah Carey producer. He could have given me back the money twice removed.
Right.
But it's the principle behind it. It was almost like, no, I don't want you. You're my guest.
Right.
When you come here, I want to take care of you.
Right.
And that's how we have to think of it as even Bahamians. I had most of the persons who I brought down, like Bahamian actors and so forth, they helped me with my camp. I gave all them a stipend. They look at me like, what this for? I said, if I could have paid those celebrities to come down, you don't think I can give you something?
Right.
That's how you have to think.
Yes.
Because these are your people.
Right.
At the end of the day, they can talk anyway and say, well, Cranston give him and he ain't give me.
Right, exactly.
No, sir.
And now they can say, no, boy, Cranston is take care of you, boy.
Of course, because that's how it's supposed to be. You want whenever you say X, Y, Z.
Yeah, people move. And that's how you do it, and that's how you get it done. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Mr. McDonald. This has been another amazing conversation. You guys, if you weren't able to watch anything or you caught us halfway through, the video will be uploaded to the Islandish YouTube channel tomorrow, so you guys can watch it. We have another episode coming out this Thursday too, though. So we're giving you all a double feature because I missed you all last week. So this week, we're giving you twice the viewing pleasure and twice the guest interviews. Cranston, this has been an amazing conversation. This has been a wonderful topic, talking about creatives here in Grand Bahama and also talking about movie production and just getting started with your dreams. All right, so y'all keep it here right here on Superior Talk. This has been your girl Yams, and this has been, what's it say your name?
Cranston McDonald.
Boom, right here on the podcast. Catch you guys later.